Captain Jamin Park stood on the bridge of Terra's Pride and watched the stars bend around his ship. The massive Earth defense fleet was jumping through hyperspace toward their new future. After 50 long years of fighting and proving themselves, humanity had finally been accepted into the Galactic Council. Jamin felt proud as he looked at the display showing all 200 human ships traveling together. Each vessel carried Earth's best soldiers and newest technology. This was humanity's moment to show the galaxy what they could do. "Captain, we're getting close to the jump point," said Commander Mina Ko from her station. She was his tactical officer and had been with him for 10 years. Mina was good at her job, but Jamin could see worry in her eyes. "Something wrong, Commander?" Jamin asked. Mina looked at her screens again. "I don't like this, sir. Why did the Council ask us to bring our entire fleet to the Kepler sector? It's in the middle of nowhere." Jamin understood her concern. The Kepler sector was far from Earth and far from any Council worlds. But Admiral Sun-Ho Lee had been clear in his orders. The Council wanted to do joint training with humanity's fleet. It was supposed to be the biggest military exercise in galactic history. "The Council knows what they're doing," Jamin said. "This is our chance to show them we belong." The hyperspace jump ended and normal space appeared around them. Jamin's breath caught in his throat. Ahead of them was the largest fleet he had ever seen. Hundreds of alien ships filled the space around them. Ships from the Vorthak Empire with their dark metal hulls. Kellan Syndicate vessels that looked like floating crystals. Ships from 10 other Council species, all waiting for the humans. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Hanaseo from the weapons station. "Look at all of them." Communications Officer Taewon No spoke up from his position. "Captain, I'm getting welcome messages from 12 different species. They're all here for the exercise." Jamin smiled. This was even bigger than Earth's leaders had hoped. President Yura Choi would be happy to hear that so many Council species wanted to train with humanity. On the main screen, a message appeared. It was from High Chancellor Gorvak of the Vorthak Empire. The alien looked like a cross between a lizard and a bear, with gray skin and small black eyes. "Welcome, humans," Gorvak said in his deep voice. "We are pleased that you have come so far to join us. Your fleet is impressive for such a young species." "Thank you, High Chancellor," Jamin replied. "Earth is honored to be here." "The exercise will begin in 3 days," Gorvak continued. "Until then, please make yourselves comfortable. Our ships will provide anything you need." The message ended and Yemen felt excitement building in his chest. This was it. Humanity was really part of the galactic community now. Over the next 2 days, human officers visited alien ships and alien officers came aboard human vessels. Colonel Dae-Ho Kim reported that the Vorthak soldiers were interested in human fighting techniques. Lieutenant Hanaseo spent hours talking with Kellan engineers about weapon systems, but Taewon No was having a different experience. The young communications officer had been monitoring all the radio traffic between the alien ships. Most of it was normal talk about the exercise, but some of the messages were encrypted in ways he had never seen before. "Commander Ko," Taewon said quietly on the second day, "could I speak with you privately?" Mina followed him to a corner of the bridge. "What is it, Lieutenant?" "I've been picking up strange transmissions between the Council ships," Taewon said. "They're using encryption that's way more advanced than anything they've shown us before. And the pattern of the messages is weird." "Weird how?" "They're not talking about the exercise. The few bits I can decode mention something called final solution and pest removal. None of it sounds like training talk." Mina frowned. She had been feeling uneasy since they arrived, and this made it worse. "Have you told the captain?" "I tried, but he's busy with all the diplomatic meetings. Admiral Lee is coming over tomorrow for the big planning session." Mina looked around the bridge. Everyone seemed happy and excited. Captain Park was laughing with some Vorthak officers who had come aboard. She didn't want to spoil the mood with paranoid thoughts. "Keep monitoring those transmissions," she told Taewon. "But don't spread this around. We don't want to cause problems over what might be nothing." The next day, Admiral Sun-Ho Lee arrived aboard Terra's Pride with a shuttle full of Earth's top commanders. The meeting room was packed with humans and aliens, all looking at holographic displays of the exercise plans. High Chancellor Gorvak explained how the exercise would work. Human ships would be divided into 3 groups. Each group would face off against Council forces in different scenarios. It would test everyone's abilities and help build trust between the species. "This is wonderful," Admiral Lee said. "Earth's military has dreamed of this day for decades." Captain Bowman Yu of the destroyer Soul's Hammer raised his hand. Will we be using live weapons or simulation systems? Live weapons, of course, said a Kellen commander with a voice like singing crystals. We want this to be as realistic as possible. But don't worry. All weapons will be set to training power levels. Admiral Lee nodded. That makes sense. Our crews need real experience. After the meeting, the alien officers left and the humans began planning their strategies. Everyone was excited. This was their chance to show the galaxy that Earth's military was ready for anything. But in his small communication station, Taewon No was getting more worried by the hour. The encrypted messages between council ships were increasing, and now he was picking up another signal. It was coming from the edge of the system, where his sensors showed empty space. There's something out there, he muttered to himself. Something big. He tried to get a better reading, but whatever it was seemed to be using stealth technology. All he could detect were tiny energy signatures that appeared and disappeared. Taewon made a decision. He recorded everything he had found and prepared to take it directly to Captain Park. This was too important to keep quiet anymore. But before he could leave his station, an announcement came over the ship's communication system. All personnel, prepare for exercise beginning. High Chancellor Gorvak's voice said, Human fleet, please move to your assigned positions. Let us show the galaxy what we can accomplish together. Around them, the massive council fleet began to move. Ships took new positions as the exercise prepared to start. Jamin Park stood on his bridge, proud and ready. He had no idea that in just a few hours everything would change forever. The exercise began exactly as planned. Human ships moved to their positions while council vessels formed opposing groups. Everything looked normal on the tactical displays. Captain Jamin Park felt confident as Terra's Pride led the first human squadron toward their designated area. All ships reporting ready, Captain, Commander Mina Ko said from her station. She still looked worried, but she was doing her job like always. Excellent. Signal the council fleet that we're in position. Lieutenant Hana Seo watched her weapon displays. All systems show green, sir. Weapons are set to training power as ordered. Jamin nodded. Earth's ships were ready to show what they could do. Around them, the massive council fleet moved like a slow dance through space. Fourth-act ships with their dark armor. Kellen vessels that sparkled like diamonds. Ships from 10 other alien species, all supposedly here to train with humanity. On the third day, everything changed. High Chancellor Gorvak's face appeared on every screen in the human fleet. But this time he wasn't smiling. His small black eyes were cold and his voice was different. Attention, human vessels, Gorvak said. The exercise is over. We have something important to tell you. Captain Park frowned. This isn't part of the plan. Mina, are you getting anything from the other human ships? Mina tried her communications, but static filled the channels. Sir, I can't reach anyone. Something is jamming our signals. On the screen, Gorvak continued speaking. For 50 years we have watched your species grow. You have become strong too quickly. Your weapons are too powerful. Your soldiers learn too fast. You are a threat to the peace we have built over thousands of years. Admiral Sunho Lee's voice came through on an emergency channel. All ships, this is Admiral Lee. Something is wrong. The council ships are changing formation. Jamin looked at his tactical display and felt ice in his stomach. The council ships were not in training positions anymore. They were surrounding the human fleet in attack formations. This was never a training exercise, Gorvak said on the screen. This was the only way to get your entire fleet far from Earth, far from any help. We are sorry, humans, but you must be stopped before you become too dangerous. Battle stations, Jamin shouted. All hands to battle stations. Alarms rang throughout Terra's Pride. Around them, the other human ships were doing the same thing. But they were spread out across the system in small groups, exactly where the council had wanted them. Captain Bowman Yu's voice crackled over the emergency channel from Soul's Hammer. Captain Park, my sensors show council weapons charging. These aren't training power levels. They're preparing to fire full strength. The trap was perfect. The council had used humanity's trust against them. 200 human ships were scattered across the Kepler sector, facing more than 1,000 council vessels. They were outnumbered 5-1 with no way to call for help. Mina, can we break through their jamming? Jamin asked. Negative, sir. They're using technology we've never seen before. I can't even reach the ships next to us. The first shots came from the Kellen vessels. Beams of crystal energy hit 3 human destroyers before they could raise their shields. The ships exploded in bright flashes that lit up the darkness of space. "Return fire," Jamin ordered. "All weapons full power." Terra's Pride's weapons opened up on the nearest Vorthak cruiser. Their missiles and energy beams hit the alien ship's shields but barely made a dent. The Council ships had been preparing for this fight. Their shields were much stronger than anything they had shown during the diplomatic meetings. All across the system, human ships fought for their lives. Captain Bomin Yu pushed Sol's hammer into a desperate charge at a group of Vorthak ships. His destroyer was smaller and faster than the enemy vessels. He managed to get close enough to launch all his missiles at once. The missiles hit a Vorthak command ship and broke through its shields. The explosion tore the alien vessel apart. But 3 more Council ships immediately targeted Sol's hammer. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes hit Yu's ship from all sides. "This is Sol's hammer," Yu's voice came over the emergency channel. "We're losing power. Shields are down. They're boarding us." Commander Kyung-Soo-an was leading his cruiser Busan's fire in a fighting retreat when he saw Sol's hammer in trouble. Without hesitation, he changed course toward the enemy ship surrounding Yu's destroyer. "All power to engines," An ordered his crew. "We're going to ram them." "Sir, that's suicide," his tactical officer said. "Maybe. But we're not going down without taking some of them with us." Busan's fire accelerated toward the largest Kellen dreadnought in the enemy formation. The alien ship tried to turn away, but An's cruiser was moving too fast. The 2 ships collided in a massive explosion that destroyed both vessels and damaged 3 others nearby. Major Soo-Young Lim was aboard the assault ship Tiger's Claw when Council ships surrounded them. Instead of trying to run, she made a different choice. "Launch all boarding pods," she ordered. "If we're going to die, we're taking some of them with us." Tiger's Claw fired 20 boarding pods at a Vorthak battleship. Most of the pods were destroyed by the alien ship's defenses, but 3 made it through. Lim led her Marines into the enemy vessel's corridors. The fighting inside the Vorthak ship was brutal. Human soldiers with rifles and plasma weapons faced alien warriors with energy claws and acid guns. Lim's team fought their way toward the bridge, but there were too many enemies. "This is Major Lim," she said into her communicator before a Vorthak warrior's claw tore through her chest. "Tell Earth we made them pay for every meter." On Terra's Pride, Captain Park watched his fleet being destroyed piece by piece. Human ships were fighting with everything they had, but it wasn't enough. The Council had planned this too well. "Sir, we've lost contact with 60 ships, Mina reported. Her voice was steady, but tears ran down her face. "The 7th Squadron is completely gone. Admiral Lee's flagship is under heavy attack," Lieutenant Hana Seo added. "They're requesting immediate assistance." Jamin looked at his tactical display. Terra's Pride was surrounded by 8 Council ships. Their shields were down to 30%. All around them, human vessels were dying. "Can we reach any of our ships with shuttles?" he asked. "Negative, sir. The Council ships are targeting anything that moves." That's when Jamin made the hardest decision of his life. He turned to Lieutenant Jinwoo Baek, his best pilot. "Jinwoo, take the stealth shuttle Ghost of Incheon. Get out of here and warn Earth." "Sir, I won't abandon the ship." "That's an order, Lieutenant. Someone has to tell Earth what happened here. Someone has to warn them that the Council is coming for our home." Jinwoo looked around the bridge at his friends and fellow officers. Then he saluted. "Yes, sir. I'll make sure Earth knows." As Jinwoo ran toward the shuttle bay, more explosions rocked Terra's Pride. Council ships were closing in for the kill. On the main screen, High Chancellor Gorvak appeared one last time. "Your resistance has been impressive, humans," the alien said. "But this is over. Soon we will visit your Earth and finish what we started here." Captain Park stepped forward. "You made one mistake, Gorvak. You let one of our ships escape, and when Earth finds out what you did here, they're going to come for you." Gorvak laughed. "One small stealth ship? What can it do against the might of the Council?" "You'll find out," Park said. The screen went dark as enemy fire overwhelmed Terra's Pride's shields. The flagship began to break apart. In the shuttle bay, Ghost of Incheon launched just as the ship's hull cracked open. Jinwoo's small stealth ship slipped away into hyperspace, while behind him, the last human ships fought and died. The Kepler sector filled with wreckage and the bodies of Earth's finest soldiers. The Council had won the battle, but they had no idea what they had just started. Lieutenant Jinwoo Baek's small ship Ghost of Incheon jumped out of hyperspace near Earth's moon. Smoke poured from damaged engines and sparks flew from broken control panels. The stealth shuttle had barely survived the journey home. Jinwoo's hands shook as he sent an emergency signal to Earth Defense Command. This is Lieutenant Bayek, sole survivor of the Kepler sector mission. I need immediate priority landing. Code Black emergency. The response came back instantly. Ghost of Incheon, you are cleared for emergency landing at Pacific Base. Medical team standing by. Jinwoo crashed his damaged ship into the ocean near the base. Rescue boats pulled him from the wreckage as he kept repeating the same words over and over. They're all dead. The Council killed them all. Within hours, Jinwoo sat in a medical bed facing Earth's top leaders. President Yura Choi, Defense Minister Sun-Woo Park, and General Dong-hae Liam all listened as he told them what had happened in the Kepler sector. 200 ships, President Choi said quietly. Our entire fleet. It was a trap from the beginning, Jinwoo said. They never wanted to train with us. They wanted to kill us. And High Chancellor Gorvak said they were coming for Earth next. General Lim stood up and walked to the window. Outside, normal life continued. People went to work, children played in parks, and nobody knew that humanity's entire military had just been destroyed. How long do we have? The general asked. I don't know, sir. But Gorvak seemed confident they could finish us easily. He probably thinks Earth is defenseless now. President Choi looked at Defense Minister Park. What do we have left? The home defense fleet has 40 ships, Park replied. They're older models, nothing compared to what we sent to Kepler. We also have the planetary defense systems and ground forces. 40 ships against over 1,000? President Choi shook her head. We need to evacuate the population. Where? General Lim asked. They control the whole galaxy now. There's nowhere to run. That's when Director Sung Min-oh spoke up from the corner of the room. He was the head of Earth's Advanced Weapons Division, and he had been quiet during the entire meeting. There might be another option, he said. Everyone turned to look at him. Director Oh was known for his secret projects and strange ideas. Most people thought he was a little crazy. What are you talking about, Sungmin? President Choi asked. We're not as defenseless as you think. For the past 20 years, my division has been working on projects that even Admiral Lee didn't know about. We've been preparing for exactly this situation. What kind of projects? General Lim demanded. Director Oh smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. Come with me. I'll show you. 2 hours later, President Choi and her staff stood in a massive underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains. Hundreds of technicians worked on weapons and ships that looked nothing like Earth's normal military equipment. What is this place? Defense Minister Park asked. This is where we've been building Earth's real military, Director Oh replied. The fleet we sent to Kepler was just our public face. Down here we've been creating something the Council has never seen. He led them to a huge viewing window. Beyond the glass, they could see a shipyard that stretched for kilometers underground. Hundreds of ships hung in construction cradles, but these weren't like any human vessels they had ever seen. Antimatter weapons, Director Oh explained as they walked. Quantum targeting systems that can hit targets in other dimensions, and this is just the beginning. They stopped in front of a holographic display showing ship designs. The vessels looked deadly and alien, nothing like Earth's previous military style. We call it the Dragon Fleet. Director O continued. 500 ships, each one designed to fight enemies we've never encountered before. They've been built in secret facilities around Jupiter and Saturn. 500 ships? President Choi stared at the display. How is that possible? We've been working on this since first contact with the Council. Some of us never trusted them. We knew that one day humanity might need to fight the entire galaxy. General Lim studied the ship designs. What makes these different from our regular fleet? Everything. The weapons, the armor, the engines, even the artificial intelligence systems are completely new. These ships learn and adapt during battle. The longer they fight, the smarter they get. Dr. Nayeon Shin joined them at the display. She was Director O's top computer specialist, and she looked excited. We've also developed something called the Soul Protocol, she said. It's a cyber warfare system that can turn enemy ships against each other. Instead of trying to break their defenses, we make their own weapons attack them. President Choi felt something she hadn't felt since Jinwoo's report. Hope. How long before these ships are ready? They're ready now, Director O said. We just need crews and a leader. I know who should lead them, General Lim said. Admiral Eunjung Kang. She was Captain Park's mentor and the best tactical commander we have. Admiral Kang was found at the military cemetery, standing in front of a memorial wall with the names of everyone killed at Kepler. When they told her about the Dragon Fleet, her expression changed from sadness to something much more dangerous. How many council species were involved in the attack? She asked. 12, Jinwoo replied. Led by the Vorthak Empire and the Kellen Syndicate. Then 12 species will pay, Admiral Kang said simply. What are my orders? President Choi looked at her advisors, then back at the Admiral. You have complete authority to use Earth's resources however you see fit. Your mission is simple. Make sure the Council never threatens humanity again. And if they surrender, they had their chance for peace. They chose war instead. Admiral Kang nodded. I understand. When do we launch? As soon as possible. But first, we need to name the ships properly. Director O pulled up a list of the 500 vessels in the Dragon Fleet. Each ship needed a name and a captain. Name the flagship Jaemin's Vengeance, Admiral Kang said. And I want other ships named after everyone we lost. Mina's Fury, Sunho's Justice, Bauman's Revenge. They died thinking they were serving peace. Now they'll serve war. Commander Hyunsu Jang joined the planning sessions as the new head of tactical operations. He had been studying Council military records for years, and he knew their weaknesses. The Vorthak rely on heavy armor, but their ships are slow, he explained to Admiral Kang. The Kellen have powerful shields, but weak hulls underneath. Each species has patterns we can exploit. Good. Design specific battle plans for each one. I want to hit them where they're weakest. Over the next week, the Dragon Fleet assembled near Earth. The ships emerged from their hidden construction sites like ghosts appearing from nowhere. Earth's orbital stations watched in amazement as 500 unknown vessels took formation around their planet. Captain Woojin Cha took command of the destroyer Seoul's Hammer II, named after Bowman Yu's lost ship. Commander Insu Kim led a squadron of fast attack ships designed for hit-and-run tactics. Colonel Yeonjun Nam trained new Marine units for boarding actions. Lieutenant Seokmin Ryu was put in charge of communications and electronic warfare. His job was to make sure Earth's new weapons stayed secret until the right moment. The Council thinks they destroyed our military, Admiral Kang told her officers during their final briefing. They think Earth is defenseless and afraid. They're about to learn that they only made us angry. What's our first target? Captain Cha asked. Admiral Kang smiled coldly. We're going to visit every Council world and facility in known space. We're going to show them what happens when you betray humanity, and we're not going to stop until there's nothing left of their empire. The Dragon Fleet prepared to launch. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Each captain had orders to show no mercy to Council forces. The time for diplomacy was over. Earth was going to war, and this time humanity would not be the victim. The Dragon Fleet didn't announce their arrival or send any messages. They simply appeared in Council space and began hunting. Admiral Eunjung. Kang stood on the bridge of Jaemin's Vengeance as her fleet jumped into the Kellen system of Christos Prime. The system contained a massive research station where the Kellen developed their most advanced weapons. It was heavily defended and considered impossible to attack. Target acquired, reported Captain Woojin Cha from his position aboard Seoul's Hammer II. The station has 12 defense platforms and a fleet of 30 ships protecting it. Show them what Earth's new weapons can do, Admiral Kang ordered. The human ships opened fire with their antimatter weapons. The energy beams didn't just hit the Kellen shields. They went right through them as if they weren't there. The defense platforms exploded one by one in brilliant flashes of light. The Kellen fleet tried to fight back, but their crystal energy weapons couldn't penetrate the Dragon Fleet's new armor. Human ships moved through the enemy formation like wolves hunting sheep. Station shields are down, reported Commander Insu Kim from his fast attack ship. Their weapons aren't even scratching our hulls. Finish it, Admiral Kang said simply. The research station that had stood for 1,000 years was completely destroyed in less than 10 minutes. Nothing remained but dust and debris floating in space. Admiral Kang opened a communication channel that broadcast across the entire system. This is Admiral Kang of the Earth Defense Force. The Kellen Syndicate participated in the murder of our fleet at Kepler. This is your payment. We will collect the full debt from every Council species. The message was picked up by Council listening posts across the galaxy. For the first time since the betrayal, the alien governments realized that Earth had not been helpless after all. High Chancellor Gorvak received the report while meeting with other Council leaders on the Vorthak homeworld. The news that a human fleet had destroyed Christos Prime seemed impossible. 40 ships, Gorvak said to his advisors. Earth only had 40 ships left in their home defense fleet. How could they destroy our most protected facility? The reports say it was hundreds of ships, not 40, replied General Thrax, his military commander. Ships using technology we've never seen before. Impossible. We destroyed their entire fleet. We saw it happen. But more reports kept coming in. Human ships were attacking Council facilities across 3 different sectors at the same time. Supply depots were being destroyed. Trade routes were under attack. Entire Vorthak patrol fleets were disappearing without sending so much as a distress signal. Commander Insu Kim was leading those attacks on the trade routes. His squadron of fast ships would jump into a system, destroy any Council vessels they found, and jump out before reinforcements could arrive. This is too easy, Kim told his pilots during one attack. Their ships are exactly where our intelligence said they would be. And they're not even trying to fight effectively. Lieutenant Seokmin Ryu was monitoring Council communications from his position aboard the command ship. Sir, I'm picking up panic signals from their military channels. They're trying to recall ships from all over the galaxy. Good, Admiral Kang replied. Let them gather their forces. It will make our job easier. The next target was a Vorthak military base in the Mordak system. This time the Council was ready. 300 ships waited in defensive positions around the planet. Admiral, we're outnumbered 3-1, Captain Cha reported. Perfect odds, Admiral Kang said. All ships implement the Sol Protocol. Dr. Nyan Shin had spent months perfecting the cyber warfare system. As the human ships approached the Vorthak fleet, invisible signals began infiltrating the alien computer networks. The Vorthak fleet started firing, but not at the human ships. Their weapons were targeting each other. The Sol Protocol had turned their own systems against them. What's happening to them? Asked Commander Hyunsu Jang. Their ships think the vessels next to them are human attackers, Dr. Shin explained. The more they try to fix their systems, the worse it gets. Half the Vorthak fleet destroyed itself before the human ships even entered weapons range. The rest tried to retreat, but Colonel Yeonjun Nam's marine boarding teams were already launching assault pods. No survivors, Admiral Kang had ordered. No prisoners. No mercy. The Vorthak soldiers fought bravely, but human marines had been training for this war their entire lives. Every human fighter had lost friends or family at Kepler. They fought with a fury that the aliens couldn't match. By the time the battle was over, 300 Council ships had been destroyed, and the military base was a smoking ruin. The human fleet hadn't lost a single vessel. Council leaders across the galaxy began sending desperate messages to each other. Some wanted to negotiate with Earth. Others wanted to gather their forces for one massive attack. A few species started quietly moving their ships away from human space. High Chancellor Gorvak decided to use the Council's most powerful weapon. Deep beneath the Vorthak homeworld was an ancient device left by a species that had ruled the galaxy millions of years ago. It could destroy entire star systems with a single shot. Activate the Star Killer, Gorvak ordered his technicians. Target the human home system. We will end this war by destroying Earth itself. But Commander Hyunsu Jang had been studying Council records for months. He knew about their secret weapons and hidden bases. When his sensors detected massive energy readings from the Vorthak homeworld, he immediately warned Admiral Kang. Admiral, they're charging some kind of super weapon. Energy readings are off the charts. Can we stop it? Only if we get there before they fire. Admiral Kang didn't hesitate. All ships jump to the Vorthak system. Emergency speed. The Dragon fleet arrived just as the Star Killer was preparing to fire. The ancient weapon was massive, stretching deep into the planet's core. Around it, thousands of Vorthak ships formed a protective barrier. That thing can destroy Earth, Jang reported. We have to stop it now. All ships focus fire on the weapon facility, Admiral Kang ordered. Ignore everything else. The human fleet dove toward the Vorthak homeworld like an avalanche. Enemy ships tried to stop them, but Earth's new weapons cut through the alien defenses like paper. Antimatter beams carved holes in the planet's surface as the Dragon fleet fought to reach the Star Killer. Captain Woojin Cha led the final assault. His ship Sol's Hammer 2 punched through the last line of Vorthak defenders and fired directly into the Star Killer's core. The ancient weapon exploded with the force of a small sun. The blast destroyed most of the Vorthak homeworld and every ship in the system. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from neighboring star systems. When the light faded, the Vorthak Empire's capital was gone. High Chancellor Gorvak and his entire government had been wiped out in an instant. Lieutenant Seokmin Ryu sent a message across all council communication channels. The transmission reached every alien government and military base in known space. This is Admiral Kang of Earth. The Vorthak Empire no longer exists. The Kellan Syndicate is next. Any council species that participated in the Kepler massacre will face the same fate. We are not interested in your surrender. We are not interested in your peace talks. We are only interested in justice. The message ended with images of the destroyed Vorthak homeworld. Across the galaxy, council leaders looked at the pictures and realized that humanity was not going to stop. The war was just beginning, and Earth was winning. 1 year after the betrayal at Kepler, Admiral Eunjung Kang stood on the bridge of Jaemin's vengeance and watched the final battle begin. Around her flagship, over 1,000 human ships prepared for the largest military operation in galactic history. Earth's entire industrial capacity had been turned to war production. Every factory, every shipyard, every resource had been focused on building the fleet that would end the Council forever. The Dragon fleet had grown from 500 ships to an armada that blocked out the stars. All task forces report ready. Admiral, said Captain Minji Yang from her position aboard the planet cracker Terra's Wrath. Her ship was one of 50 vessels designed specifically to destroy entire worlds. Target status? Admiral Kang asked. Commander Hyunsu Jang looked at his tactical displays. The Kellan core systems have been evacuated, but their government is still on the capital world. The remaining council species have gathered their fleets around 12 different star systems. They're making their final stand. Admiral Kang nodded. The council had finally realized that humanity would not stop until every alien government that participated in the Kepler massacre was destroyed. Some species had surrendered early and been allowed to live. Others had fought to the end. Now only the core council species remained. The ones who had planned the betrayal. The ones who had to pay the full price. Begin the final assault, Admiral Kang ordered. All task forces execute your assigned missions. Show no mercy. Across the galaxy, human fleets jumped into 12 different star systems at exactly the same moment. The synchronized attack was designed to prevent any council forces from helping each other. Captain Minji Yang led Task Force Alpha to the Kellan homeworld of Crystal Prime. The planet's surface was covered in massive crystal cities that sparkled like diamonds in the light of their sun. It was considered one of the most beautiful worlds in the galaxy. Admiral, this is Yang. Target in sight. Yellen Defense Fleet has 40 ships. Destroy them all, Admiral Kang replied over the communication channel. The Kellan tried to fight, but their crystal technology was no match for Earth's antimatter weapons. Their shields shattered like glass under the human assault. Their ships exploded in brilliant cascades of light that looked almost beautiful against the darkness of space. Commander Jisoo Hwang was leading the attack on the Kellan space stations orbiting their homeworld. These massive structures housed billions of aliens and contained the most advanced technology in the galaxy. Target the reactor cores, Hwang ordered her squadron. Complete destruction. One by one, the ancient space stations exploded. Each explosion sent waves of debris across the system and lit up the night sky of Crystal Prime. The Kellan watching from their planet knew that their civilization was ending. On the planet's surface, General Kang Min-seo led human marine forces in ground assaults where needed. But mostly the war was being fought in space. Earth's new weapons could destroy entire worlds from orbit without needing to land troops. Admiral Yang, General Seo reported, the planet's defense grid is down. Ready for planet cracker deployment. Captain Yang looked at the beautiful crystal world below her ship. For a moment, she remembered what Captain Park had said about showing mercy. But then she thought about all the human ships destroyed at Kepler, all the friends who had died believing they were building peace. Fire the planet cracker, she ordered. Terra's Wrath released a single missile toward Crystal Prime. The weapon was designed to break apart the atomic bonds that held matter together. When it hit the planet's surface, Crystal Prime simply came apart like a puzzle being taken apart piece by piece. The Kellan homeworld that had existed for millions of years was gone in minutes. Nothing remained but a field of glittering dust that slowly spread through the system. Similar scenes were happening across the galaxy. Human task forces attacked every remaining council stronghold at the same time. Ancient civilizations that had ruled for thousands of years were ending in fire and explosion. The few council leaders who had tried to surrender found that humanity was not interested in their offers. Earth's terms were simple: complete disbandment of the council and exile to the edge of the galaxy. Any species that refused would be destroyed. Most chose exile. In the Vorthak system where High Chancellor Gorvak had once ruled, Admiral Kang received reports from all task force commanders. Task Force Beta reports the Thraxian Empire has been eliminated, said Commander Insu Kim. Task Force Gamma has destroyed the Mordak Alliance. Fleet, reported Colonel Yeonjun Nam. Task Force Delta confirms the Zephian Confederacy has surrendered and accepted exile terms, added Lieutenant Seokmin Ryu. One by one, the reports came in. 12 species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia were either destroyed or broken. Their fleets were wreckage. Their governments were gone. Their power was ended forever. The last message came from Captain Woojin Cha, who had been leading the attack on the Council's capital system. Admiral, this is Cha. The Council Assembly building has been destroyed. No survivors detected. The government that ordered the Kepler massacre no longer exists. Admiral Kang walked to the main viewing window of her flagship. Outside, the space around her was filled with the wreckage of alien ships. Debris from 1,000 battles drifted past like snow in the darkness. All task forces report casualties, she ordered. The answers came back quickly. In the entire year-long war, humanity had lost fewer than 50 ships. Earth's technology had been so advanced that the Council's weapons could barely damage human vessels. Admiral, said Ensign Donghyun Park, her communications officer. He was the son of Captain Jamin Park and had requested to serve on the flagship. All Council forces have either surrendered or been destroyed. What are your orders? Admiral Kang looked at the tactical display showing the entire galaxy. Large sections that had once been controlled by Council species were now empty. Some worlds had been evacuated. Others had been destroyed. A few species had been allowed to survive but had been forced to give up all military technology. Signal all task forces to return to Earth, she said. The war is over. And the surviving Council species? They can rebuild their civilizations if they want. But they'll do it without weapons, without fleets, and without any power to threaten anyone ever again. The Dragon Fleet began the long journey home. Behind them, they left a galaxy that would never be the same. The Council that had ruled for thousands of years was gone. The species that had betrayed humanity were either extinct or powerless. 6 months later, Admiral Kang stood in the military cemetery on Earth, where a new memorial had been built. The names of every person killed at Kepler were carved in black stone, along with the names of everyone who had died in the war that followed. Lieutenant Jinwoo Baek, now a captain, joined her at the memorial. He was one of the few people who had been present for both the beginning and the end of the war. "Do you think we did the right thing?" he asked. Admiral Kang read the inscription on the memorial. They thought they were eliminating a threat. Instead, they taught humanity that mercy is a luxury the galaxy cannot afford. They had a choice, she said simply. They could have treated us as equals. They could have built real peace. Instead, they chose to betray us when we trusted them most. And now the galaxy knows what happens when you make an enemy of humanity. The survivors will tell stories about this war for 1,000 years. And maybe, just maybe, no one will ever be stupid enough to attack Earth again. Captain Baek nodded. What about us? What does humanity do now? Admiral Kang looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien species were rebuilding their civilizations and learning to live without the power they had once taken for granted. Earth ships patrolled the galaxy, making sure the peace was kept. We go back to exploring, she said. We go back to building. We go back to hoping that someday we might find species worthy of real friendship. But we also make sure everyone remembers what happened here. The memorial stood silent in the afternoon sunlight. Around it, children played and people went about their normal lives. Earth was safe. Humanity had survived. And across the galaxy, the lesson had been learned. Betray humanity at your own risk. Because when Earth goes to war, nothing is left standing.